Hey, what up? This is Vince Vicari from Jackson, California, and you're listening to Grow Man Sessions.
What's up, you guys? Thank you for joining us again. My guest today is a friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. We met in the music industry, and we just got finished recording some new music, so stay tuned for that. But without giving away too much, what's up, Vince? How you doing, man? My guest is Vince Vicari, um, artist, Cookie Monster, Godfather. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much because I know my boundaries.
Let me stop you right there. It's Cookie
Yeah,
Mobster,
mobster.
okay?
Sorry, my
Because
bad.
of my
Hey.
my Sicilian American heritage, I have a little bit more finesse, charisma, and organization with my cookie industry. So not Cookie Monster, Cookie Mobster.
I meant no disrespect, Godfather.
We'll talk after the show.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, inside joke, inside joke.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. Yeah. So thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate it, bro. I
for sure.
know this is a conversation, long time coming, man. We've known each other for a very long time. We've done some work together, on events. We've done some work together, like in music recently, which is really cool, really fun. Can't wait for the audience to be able to hear the song that we made. But man, I'm so glad I just get to talk to you on like a personal level on this platform because like I just think that like having known you for so long, I feel like your story is an inspirational story, man. And I'm just hoping that like, whoever's listening, like the people that, know me, will take away the gems and the lessons that I feel like are there.
For sure. I know. I just want to say I appreciate you drawing this out of me because when you first started this podcast, I was like, "Hey, I'm down to help." However, but then as I was listening to the stories of your guests, I was like, "Man, I don't think I qualify." That's really how I felt. I was like, I don't think that I like qualify to have any kind of story or anything to like lend to this podcast. But thanks to a phone call or two from you, I appreciate you. I guess opening my eyes to myself in a way I didn't really see myself. It's just because I just am me. So thank you, Tim.
Yeah, no problem, man. I think that's kind of like a testament to one of the things that I did want to touch on, which is your work ethic, man. I feel like you're a really hard worker, and you kind of just you set your eyes on a goal, and I feel like you just kind of just move towards it, at whatever pace and whatever way that you seem that you feel is like a productive way, like you move towards it, man. And I can kind of relate because I get a little bit of tunnel vision whenever I'm like really like going after something. I mean, is that how you feel too?
Yeah, I mean, when there's something that I want to do, I it's kind of all that I think about, and I think that I mean, honestly, there's thoughts and goals that I've had since I was like a kid, like in junior high or high school, and I
Hmm.
still think about those things. And so, um, yeah, I think that I really learned in college how to harness that desire to like turn it into like action and like getting stuff done.
I think that's like a secret recipe that I think if you could bottle that up, man, like you'd
Sorry.
be a billionaire. No worries.
Well, I think where it comes from for me, like I didn't ever think that I have a strong work ethic. I was just living life the only way I know how to operate.
Hmm.
And I think where it comes from for me is how I grew up. Um, we were expected to, do our part as kids in the household to kind of like get things done around the house. And of course, I had like a roof over my head, and I was comfortable growing up, but that didn't mean that there wasn't anything expected of me. So, whether it's around the house or like jobs I would get like in high school, um, I felt like there was always work ethic was to be expected. I think that I learned that from my family. And then the other side of that, I think where my drive and my work ethic comes from is my family in terms of kind of growing up in maybe a very strict or rigorous or regimented
Hmm.
life where I kind of had to be under my parents' um, obedience, I guess you could say. I had to really like follow what they wanted and expected of me, and I had to kind of answer to them a lot because they were able to help me with my life quite a bit. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I was really motivated to get out from under my parents, to not rely on them for anything, not for financial
Mm-hmm.
support, not for whatever. And so I think that's another reason why I have developed this work ethic, is because back then when I was, getting into college, I really wanted to just do my own thing. And I had all these goals and ideas that I wanted to bring to life. Didn't think that I ever was able or allowed to because of where I grew up in that tiny town of Jackson, or how I grew up, because I didn't really know anyone else who had the same thoughts and goals that I did. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see anyone going out there and making it happen. But then when I got to college, I started meeting other kids who were out there doing whatever to make it happen for themselves. And I'm like, damn, why can't I do that? I really
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. So I just really started focusing on what I wanted to do. And I would stop at nothing, like absolutely nothing, to get it done.
I could tell, man, and like I mean, quick piggyback off of that. Like me and 60 used to talk about this when we'd be on the road, or like, just talking about like music stuff. Like we used to talk about like how like, we would come across so many artists that just had terrible work ethic. So
Mhm.
we would always ask each other, man, like, do you think that's something that somebody can learn like later on in life, or do you think it's something that has to be taught like at a younger age? Like, what do you think? Because like hearing like you tell your story, like it kind of seems like you were this was instilled in you at a young age.
Yeah, I think that it can be kind of both, and those two
Mm-hmm.
things can combine, which is what I
Mm-hmm.
think has happened with me. Is
Okay.
where I did grow up with a work ethic because it was expected of me. I did tons of yard work, tons of housework.
Yeah.
I, by choice, at 14 or 15, I wanted to go get a job just so I wouldn't have to be at home. Like I just wanted to be out there doing. It wasn't even about money for me. I remember my one of my first jobs. I worked at a auto repair shop, and a gas station called Campbell's Quick Serve, which
Mm-hmm.
me and the homies used to call Campbell's Quick Swerve. I don't know why, but we just did. But anyways, I would work there as a high school kid, and my boss would call home, and and he would tell my parents, "Can you tell your kid to please come pick up his paychecks? I've never had an employee who doesn't pick up his paychecks." And straight up, I just like doing stuff and being outside of the house, that I was just like doing it. And I was so used to just working for free, because I did that at home. I didn't have an allowance, it was just the expectation, we provide all these things for you, you're going to help out. So when I got a job, I
It's like
wasn't
a
even in.
family. It's like a family business.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. And so
Yeah.
when I got like a real job out in life, like I wasn't even thinking about money. It was just like, I get to be out here and do this stuff and meet people and get things done. That's what I want to do. So I think so. My work ethic kind of came from my family upbringing, but then also I really wanted to just do my own thing and be independent. And I knew I had these ideas that I often felt like I wasn't getting the encouragement and support for them. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they weren't realistic. And so once I got just that taste of being in college, which is, I mean, you don't have to be in college, but just basically being an independent adult, at
Right.
18,
Right.
where kind of
Mm-hmm.
this new world gets unlocked for you. I became super like fascinated and stoked about what I could do for myself every day as an adult.
Yeah, man. I think what you said, like the phrase making it happen is the epitome of like somebody that has the work ethic. You know what I mean? Because I feel like work ethic is part of the sauce, and then the vision is the other part of the sauce, and then like just putting in the effort to kind of like move forward to make things happen. That's one of the things that I've always noticed about you is just having known you, but then also like you telling me your story. um you coming from Jackson, California, which is like a smaller town, um, to moving to a bigger town, which is Sacramento, California,
Yeah.
and then like just staying focused and like and moving forward in life, throughout that whole process. And then building yourself a music career, like like networking like crazy, like getting involved in so many different aspects of the entertainment industry. I mean, all of that like requires somebody that like is determined, has the work ethic, has the vision, and is just like capable of like, accomplishing all these different things at the same time, you know. And I've always like wanted to give you your flowers with that, man, because you know, I've been in the music industry for a while, and I've seen so many people come and go, and I've seen people like, you know, fizzle out, or some people that just can't figure it out. And a lot of it has to do, man, with like with that core piece of like, you know, not having that work ethic. And so like, you know, moving forward for you, like taking that even next step of saying like, you know what, Sacramento is not where it's at for me no more. I'm going to move to LA now, and I'm going to conquer that jungle. I'm going to go and like play in that jungle. And seeing you make moves out here, bro, and like seeing you growing out here, it's like, I don't think that it matters where you're at or like what you're up against. I think that you have a certain type of sauce that allows you to like just continue, you know.
Mhm.
Like I don't ever see you like hesitate, take steps back, like detour. Like even like if it's not related to like your music stuff, you tell me about like your self-care, you tell me about like the other things that you do to take care of yourself, which in the end, man, it all like isn't, it's all interrelated, you know.
Mhm.
So sorry, man, I'm over here rambling, but my point is that, man,
Appreciate
like
it.
my point is that you the reason why I wanted to talk to you, man, is because I feel like you could impart a lot of lessons on somebody else that, you know, whether their dream is to be a musician, an actor, an athlete, a politician, I don't care what it is, man. Like you could
Mhm.
impart some sort of lesson as to like, you know, like what it's going to take, man, like what it takes to be able to accomplish these goals, you know?
Yeah. I appreciate, yeah, thank you for saying all that because, I just have been going and just doing what I think needs to be done in my life, and I really haven't ever paused to, like, reflect on, like, what I have accomplished or what I have done, or
Yeah.
how I guess how I get them done is what you're bringing out of me, and I appreciate
Right.
that because, yeah,
Right.
I can reflect and be like, "Yeah, I made that music video, I did those shows, I went traveled over here." I'll reflect on that, but I don't reflect on how I get it done. For me, it's just I have such a huge desire to just have a career in entertainment, and I know that I'm capable, and I know that I'm qualified to do anything in the entertainment industry. I mean, you and I met at the radio show at kssu.com, Sac State's
Hmm.
only student-run radio station, and for me, that was like a little like just a little gateway into what I really wanted to do, which was music and entertain and host and just make people feel good. And
Hmm.
once I get a taste of that, and I just know that I have what it takes, but I have to keep going. And I think one thing that I do is I always remind myself, no matter how frustrated I get, is that everyone has their own path, and I cannot and should not ever compare my path to someone else's.
Oh, that's
And
huge.
I'm always reminding myself of that. Believe me, I will get myself down a little bit because I will see someone who started doing music or whatever much more recently than I did. You know, like I feel like I've been grinding it out for years, and someone can just like hit the scene in a year or two and like, oh, they're like making it, leveling up. But like I have to remind myself, like we have different paths, and I know
Yeah. Yeah.
that I'm preparing myself for that one opportunity that is really going to be the opportunity for me. One thing that I got at a yard sale, I love yard sales, by the way. Estate sales, antique stores. I've been doing that since I was in junior high because where I came from, there was like nothing to do. There was no mall where I came from. So
that
yard
was
sales were, those were my malls,
that was your shopping trip.
straight up. But I found this little sign, and it says,
Hmm.
luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
I hang that by my door, and I have ever since, to remind me every day that I need to keep preparing for that one opportunity. And I think that I think part of what it is, I guess, dude. And again, like I told you before the show, I'm like, you need to pull this out of me. Like, ask me the questions because I wouldn't know how to teach something to somebody in terms of like work ethic or hustle. But I just think about the same things almost every day and remind myself of these same mantras and these same goals. And I often like write them down or have them on bulletin boards. And I just try my best to stay focused on what I want to do. And I remind myself of uh, just opportunities that I've made for myself and can continue to make for myself, and not to rely on anybody.
So
I hope that.
before I dig deeper on that, man, I want to point something out that I feel like is really important. And you talked about like what you say to yourself to not get discouraged or to kind of like stay moving forward. And I personally think, like even with myself, man, I think that's one of the hardest things to do because the music industry in general, I think it applies to like anything that you really want to do. Like everything gets competitive at a certain level, but I think having a certain mindset. Um, is so freaking important, man. Like I can't stress it enough. Like what you tell yourself and like how you like you said you repeat these mantras to yourself like
Mm,
because a lot of people that I know like that and I've done it myself, man. I'm not like, above anybody else, but a lot of these mantras that people repeat to themselves are negative
mhm,
and they end up becoming the thing that prevents people from moving forward.
mhm.
So at the end of the day, man, it's not necessarily opportunity that's not there. It's not necessarily like resources that aren't there. Um, it can be you. It can be you that completely like halts your journey and completely
Yeah.
stops you from growing.
Yeah, I agree, and I wanna just say, like, the whole mantra thing, like, I never I never thought, like, I need to make a mantra. What is my mantra going to be?" It was just I would just tell myself the same stuff, like, for years and years and years, and I didn't even know,
Yeah.
like, what a mantra was in the beginning. It's just, like, I knew what I'm capable of and what I can do, and I think for inspiration, sometimes I would look at people's like Wikipedia pages and see like at what point in their career they reached whatever. And
Yeah.
for some people, it was like later on. It wasn't in their teens or 20s. Like some people, it was in their 30s, 40s, or 50s. But
Yeah.
I'll look at that for a little bit of inspiration to remind myself of like, you don't have to be a certain age. This doesn't have to come at a certain age or milestone in your life. As long as you're continuing to just go after what it is you want and think that you are capable of doing.
Yeah, I think the other thing that you said that was really important is that everybody has a different path, man, and even the path that you want to be on, like the path that you think that like is going to take you to where you eventually want to end up, like isn't always the path that will get you to that ending place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like like you have an idea of being a certain thing, and you imagine that being like a straight line, but it rarely ever is. Like, do you agree with that, or do you think that like it's something that just some people get to experience?
No, I agree with you. And that's one thing that I've learned is to be flexible, and to
Yeah.
just surrender a little bit to the universe or whatever, or what like God's plan is, however you want to call that,
Right.
because the randomest things have happened to me and they're not like roadblocks, but they are detours. And so I feel like you do have to recognize what's coming into your life and try maybe and think about why that has come into your life and then see how that is redirection for what you're trying to do. My examples are, listen up everybody. um, I was trying to do music and get going more and more in Sacramento, and I had just put out a couple songs and music videos, and I had this plan of like, oh, how I thought I was going to put out music, and then uh, I was trying to apply for a job because I was getting ready to graduate college, and uh, this job that was going to be offered to me, it went away, and then I couldn't keep being a student assistant anymore, and so I was like unemployed. And
Mm.
so my boss knew someone who was opening a restaurant. Like, I can try and get you an interview. I'm like, I have no restaurant experience. Like I have customer service skills, but like I've never been a server, never been a bartender, never worked in a kitchen. Long story medium, I got a job in this brand new restaurant, and a couple months in, I'm serving the two owners and the wife of one of the owners, and one of the wife. So that the owners are like talking to each other, and the wife is kind of just sitting there, and everyone's scared to serve them, and I really didn't care. So I come over and I'm filling up like their water glasses, and it was a Mexican restaurant. Do I shout it out, Tim, or do I not?
Hey, yeah, why not?
It's Mayo Tequila Museo in downtown Sacramento on 12th and K.
Yeah, man,
Um,
great place.
yeah, it really is a nice place. Anyways, I was filling up the water glass for the wife, And she goes, "Oh, so what's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh," and we're talking in Spanish. And I said, "Oh, I'm Vicente." Go, "Oh, Vicente, what do you do besides wait tables?" And I said, "Oh, I like to play piano and I like to sing." And she goes, "Oh, you sing?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Sing me something then." And I'm like,
Ooh.
"Oh, snap. All right." So I just like, with like a water pitcher in my hand, I just sang like some traditional Spanish song that's like a well-known song in Mexico. And my bosses
Volver?
overheard. What?
Volver?
No, Cielito
Okay.
Lindo.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, it's like a little like fun, playful one. And both my bosses looked at me and they're like, "Why didn't you tell me you could sing?" And I'm like, "You guys didn't ask me if I could sing."
That wasn't on the application, sir.
No, it wasn't. But that turned into me becoming like the singing waiter in my OED. And that was
Mm.
never my goal. But like, all I knew was that coming out of college, I was going to be unemployed. I had a journalism degree, and here I am going to work in a restaurant, and I have no experience. But I kind of just took a chance. This lady asked me to sing one night, and I'm like, whatever, let me just sing to this lady. And then they wanted me to sing songs there. And at first, I was kind of butthurt about it. I'm like, I am not like you're dancing like flamingo. That's just gonna like do whatever you want, like sing for us, sing for us, sing for us. And at first, I was kind of bitter about it, but then I
Yeah.
realized I'm like, yo, this is an opportunity to make something out of this. So
Right.
I learned more Spanish songs, and I started realizing a lot of foreign people come in there. Like people do this whole California trip and they're from like Europe, wherever. And they would usually come in and eat because the hotel is nearby. And I
Mm.
started realizing like, I can meet people from all over the world singing in this restaurant. So
Yeah.
then I started learning more songs to sing for people. I started creating like little business card things to hand out to people because they wanted to know more about me. And so I kind of turned it into like this way to always market myself, where like I kind of had like a residency. Like, like I was like the Celine Dion of downtown Sacramento, where like 3 nights a week, here I am at my OL, come see me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's just one example of, I never planned to work in a restaurant, but like I had planned to get a job with my degree. And when that wasn't happening, I had to just take whatever life could give me. And that's how that elevated my profile so much in Sacramento, but that also
Yeah.
elevated my skill set and my comfort level of singing in front of people on the spot and
Right.
working, like, what I'm saying? Just working on meeting people and trying to sell myself.
It's
So
like a
that's
bunch of practice. Just a bunch of
every
practice.
night, 3 to 4
Hmm.
nights a week. I basically had like, whether people were there for 20 minutes or 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this table fall in love with me. Like that's my whole job. Like each table, like, and again, I'm not thinking about money. Of course, tips and money are nice, but I was just trying to like sharpen my skills and get those follows, on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook, and get people to support and like what I'm doing. So,
That's
yeah,
kind of like that's that what you said, man. That preparation meeting opportunity in that
yeah,
moment where you met the owner's wife,
uh huh,
like in that preparation came into play, and you saw the opportunity and you pounced on it, man. And I think
yeah.
yeah, that's a dope thing.
You gotta just take every chance. People always like, you miss all the shots you don't take or whatever. But like
Yeah.
my thought is like, what do I have to lose? And like I started changing my mindset too when people were like, you're in the grocery store and people are checking out the checker at the store and they're like, "Oh, how are you doing?" or "How's your day?" I started realizing like I'm not just ever just gonna give them like this like typical answer. I will like tell them exactly what's on my mind. And like that's how I found a washer and dryer one time for my house, because I was told this checker like, "Oh, how's your day going?" It's going okay. I need a washer and dryer for my house I just moved into with my roommates. And she knew someone who was selling stuff. But like that's another thing, is like every little social interaction is an opportunity to
Yeah.
to get something done, meet somebody, fill in the blank. So
Yeah.
that's another thing I started kind of incorporating into my mind. Like if I walk into like Banana Republic or Hot Topic or whatever, and someone asks me something like, "Oh, how's your day going?" "Oh, it's good." But I would tell them more than that. "I was doing
Mm.
this and that, but like I'm trying to figure out, do you know anything, like, I can get some good cookies, like whatever." But like take those moments and make them opportunities.
The other thing that I noticed about you, man, like just having known you and like having talked to you, like throughout the years, just like random stuff that we end up talking about and like planning things. I always felt like you were really good with managing your time. So that was another thing that along my journey, like I had to really like get a grasp of, because I had this conversation with Joey Jose from First Dirt, like a
Mhm.
couple months ago, and I asked him like, if you could go back and do anything different, what would you do? And he pretty much said like, I would manage my time better, because we kind of like just messed around too much. Like we didn't take
Mhm.
as many opportunities as we had. We didn't take them as seriously as we should have, because like we weren't managing our time well when it came to all that stuff.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, like, how did that come about, man? Like, because I noticed that you're very good at like managing your day, and you're very like strict with yourself in a good way. Like you're very disciplined when it comes to like keeping your schedule like with yourself.
Mhm. I liked to jokingly say that growing up playing the computer game The Sims, that helped me manage my time, because you have to like run these families and households and put all these like tasks for them to do, and you only have so many hours in the day, and they got to go to work, they got to do homework, they got to cook food. And like I joke about that, but I think a little bit of that is true. I played so much of that growing up that I feel like, okay, I'm waking up. Here are these 8 things I need to do today before
Yeah.
I go to sleep at 10 or 11 p.m. Um, so I kind of joke about that, but I feel like there's some truth to that. Also, I love being organized and I love writing things down.
Hmm.
Like in college at Sac State, they give you these little like uh I don't know what they call them, agendas or notebooks that you can like write in, and there's like notes for every day. I
Yeah.
just love like making notes of like the outcomes of these classes, what the homework is, when it's due, and then that would turn into like, again, this is me just like loving people and trying to like be everywhere and meet everybody and do everything.
Hmm.
It's like I just want to like, oh, I can go to this event, then I can go over here with these people. Like I want to do this, I want to do that. Um, I guess I manage my time like having those tools, I guess, the agenda thing, and then like when Google Calendars came out, like, oh, man, my favorite app on my phone is Google Calendars. Like I love how you can just block out what's happening. And I've learned like you can do a lot in an hour. That's like kind of a thing I tell myself is like if you have 60 minutes, there's like quite a bit you can get done. Whether
Yeah.
you're driving someplace far away to pick something up and come back on your lunch break, or you have nothing but an hour to spend with somebody, or like work on a project or a task, like you can do a lot in an hour. And I like looking at like a day that way in like hour increments. But
Yeah.
am I answering this question correctly in terms of like how to teach people how to do this, or like how I just do it?
No, yeah, it's helpful just hearing your process.
I just like I don't know if it's because I grew up feeling like I just missed out on so much or didn't get to do a lot. I feel like I kind of grew up in a strict household to an extent that like
Yeah.
when I was out there in the real world, as I call it, like there was just so much to do, and I wanted to make sure I can do it all. So I'd like write things down to make
Hmm.
sure I can do it, whether that was like checklists, to-do lists, or people I wanted to hang out with or get to know or whatever. I would like write that down. And like your to-do list can be anything from like, brushing your teeth and cleaning your shoes to like invite that person out to lunch, or like send that follow-up email to that professor, or like show up to that restaurant's happy hour and talk to that server again or something. Like I write down all those things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And they're not just like pay bills. It's like it can be literally anything. Like I have a list today. I was just doing like my Monday list. It's like anything from like get my oil changed to like think about song ideas for a show I'm working on. But like I just make a list of all these things I want to do and then try and find ways to plug them into my calendar every day.
I think there's a satisfaction too from because I'm a list kind of guy too, and I think there's a satisfaction like even with the small tasks that you write down, like there's a satisfaction of crossing it off, because I feel like it kind of builds like a little bit of momentum in your corner, like because you feel productive, and you feel like you're getting things accomplished and you don't feel stagnant. Do you get the same kind of like feeling from that?
Yeah, I feel so fulfilled at
Yeah.
the end of each day, and that's
Yep.
I think that's a feeling that I just realize and I like it, so I try to just duplicate that as much as possible. Um, Knowing that there's other days or weeks or months or years, let's be honest, where there's more you're doing compared to other weeks, months, or years, but you're still doing stuff. And I realized in these past 2 years of the pandemic, that's all we're going to say about that. But I've been so focused on career things, music, hosting, entertainment, all that stuff, that I have not spent enough time on stuff for like me, the human being. So that's what I've kind of learned to like factor into what I do on day to day, month to month, is like making time for me to like chill out, rejuvenate, and not feel guilty about that stuff. I think that here's one thing that I also do that I think is a double-edged sword, but I kind of operate on a reward system, like with myself. Like I have to tell myself like, well, you didn't work hard enough, so you're not going to get this, like we're not playing The Sims until we accomplish this, or getting a massage, or like having those extra cookies, like until like you accomplish this across the finish line. I think that that's healthy to an extent. But I do feel like sometimes in the past I was too
Too hard
stringent
on
with,
yourself.
yeah, too hard on
Yeah.
myself. And that's what I've learned these past couple of years is I do, work so much, and I'm so focused on what I want to do that I do kind of, sometimes I would neglect me as the human being of like, sleep,
Self
or
care.
yeah, just self-care, like things to unstress myself. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I can operate under stressful circumstances, but that doesn't mean that I should always be operating under stress. Those are
Hmm.
things that I've learned along the way. And it's okay
Yeah.
if you don't do so. If you're not productive every damn day, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to tell myself that.
Yeah. I think I just got finished reading a book called Atomic Habits. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I've not read it.
Yeah, it's a game changer for me, man, because like I've always felt pretty good about getting things done. Like even though I've never been like a completely like well organized person, I started like I back in Sacramento before I came to LA. I started like writing everything down on a whiteboard, and then
Uh-huh.
that kind of like that evolved into like my 20 different notebooks of lists that I have laying around the house in different places.
Mhm.
But in Atomic Habits, they talk about giving yourself the reward, because they
Okay.
say the one of the different aspects of building healthy habits, or I mean just building good habits in general,
Mhm.
is you have to make it satisfactory. Like it has to give you some sort of like pleasurable feeling
Yeah.
in order for you to want to keep doing it. So
Mhm.
yeah, there is a healthy way, in a well balanced way, to be able to like write down your goals, or develop some sort of habit that you want to incorporate in your life. And
Yeah.
then on the back end of that, you say, okay, now I'm going to reward myself with this. And one of the examples they gave in there, which I thought was like really helpful because it knocks out like a couple birds with one stone, is only allowing yourself to go on social media after you've accomplished one of your things that you're trying to build a habit
Mm.
for. So
Okay.
like say like, okay, like I want to be on my phone, but you have to like tell yourself like, okay, if I work out, then I'm going to let myself be on my phone for like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
So then there, that way, like you're kind of like you're reducing the amount of screen time, which is a healthy thing, and then you're
Yeah.
getting your exercise in, and then you're building a good habit by rewarding yourself with something that isn't like necessarily really bad for you if you like monitor it well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, lists work, and I have two things I want to say to this. Like 2019, I feel like was one of my favorite years of all time for myself, because I come out of I was in like a contract, like a 5-year contract with management for my
mm,
music, and I was kind of stifled with a lot of things in
hmm
that contract. And when that contract finally ended, I was so like hell bent on doing stuff. I wrote all these things down of things I wanted to do in 2019. And I did pretty much all of those things, including moving to Los Angeles. But like I would put that stuff on a bulletin board. I mean,
hmm
again, I am super organized, and that stuff like, it does something good to me. Like I love organization, dude. I don't know how I got this way, but I had all these goals. And I had them on my door, on the wall by my door every day to remind me. And so that was very motivating for me. But I will say, if people are watching and listening to this right now and they're like, yeah, this is too much. Like, I don't want to have to get a whiteboard and a bulletin board and write stuff down. One thing I would say, and then this is another thing that I do, is every day think about who, what person do you want to be like, and what person don't you want to be like?
hmm
And think about that just once at the start of every day. Like, who am I trying to be like? Not like copying, but like, who are you trying to like model yourself after, or who kind of
Right.
inspires you? And
Right.
then also, who don't you want to be? And that
Mm-hmm.
could be a relative, a friend, a coworker, someone in your life. It could be some kind of celebrity or athlete or entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think about stuff like that often. Like, do I want to be like this person or do I want to be like this person? So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if I am screwing around or being negative or not genuine with myself and others, I'm going to end up like this person. Do I want to be like that person? No. Do I want to be like Regis Philbin, who's just like so great, rest in peace? Like host, charismatic, hardworking showman, very humble. Or do you want to be like Ryan Seacrest, who's just like, you know what I'm saying? That's all
Hey
I'm going to say.
man, hey don't talk bad about Ryan's Roses, man. I get a kick out of that show. I'm
This is a
joking.
different it's a different conversation that we're not gonna, maybe I shouldn't have given that example. But I will say that's someone I don't want to be.
I hear you. Hey,
Yeah.
but to bring it to reel it back in,
Yeah.
um, I I used to think about some of the things that you did, man, that I wanted to incorporate in my life. So
Okay.
you have had that effect on me, bro. I know you've told me in the past that like that, like I've helped you like, with certain aspects of your music stuff, but I mean, it's a two-way street, bro. It is
Thanks.
for real. And I think one of the reasons why like I'm glad like we're able to have this conversation is because like I feel like I was able to attain a certain amount of success in my musical career, whether somebody thinks that it's not that much or somebody else thinks it's a lot. I don't put a gauge on it, but my own personal opinion of my own personal success is that like I was able to go somewhere I never thought that I would go.
Mhm.
And I mean, I am always been the type of person where I pick up game along the way from other people that I see being successful and I see
Mhm.
doing things that like I'm like, oh, like I see the value in that. So like when you would tell me like, oh man, I'm scheduling out my day, like I have like I have, we can talk, man, but I only have from 4 to 5 free, like on Tuesday. Like, how does that work for you? Dude, man, like that is like a very valuable tool to be able to have, so like I just want you to know, man, that like um you may not see it, but I guarantee you like I'm not the only one that sees it,
Okay.
so it's just a testament, man, to like you working hard, you being true to who you are. And I do think that opportunity that you're preparing for, man, is coming. Like I'm a firm believer in that, just like as you are, man. And um I guarantee you, man, that like whoever listens to this conversation, they just got like this secret formula that like it's not so much of a secret, but I just think hearing it from other people that are putting it into
Mhm.
practice and like and seeing the benefits of it, I do think that it's helpful, and I do think that like it's of value.
For sure. One other thing I want to add is I think part of all the things that I do and scheduling all this stuff is that I want to support people in the way I would hope that they would support me. And
Hmm.
if you're trying to do something like you're starting a business or you're starting, music or whatever, like you can't just expect people to show up and support you. Like you got to like show them love and support also. And
Yeah.
so I would never like directly tell people that, but I would make it a priority to show up to my friend's art show or their open mic night
Yeah.
or whatever. They're opening a new store somewhere. They're having a pop-up shop somewhere. Like I recognize how much that support means to everybody because it means a lot to me.
It
And so
does.
I prioritize people in addition to prioritizing stuff for myself. And I think that I've been able to get a lot out of life because I do prioritize people. If you invite me to something, I'm going to go. Unless I already have something planned that day at that time, I will tell you immediately I can't go to that. If you're inviting me to a birthday party or an open mic night or who knows. But I really try and give people that time and commitment that I give to myself. Cause I feel like that really kind of keeps the positive momentum in your life going in the right direction. So it can't just be totally selfish all the time. If you
Right.
expect or need people to support you, you got to give that support also.
Oh,
So I
for
make
sure.
I make time for other people. Granted, I've had to learn that if I give too much time to the wrong people, then I need to ease up on that and make
Hmm.
those adjustments.
Yeah.
But like I have friends, but I think of my friend Vero that I met at Sac State just randomly at a house party. She's been in like I think most of my music videos. Like she's just been an extra. She's shown up. She's been like a girl just having a good time in the background. And like it's just a beautiful thing. But like also like I go to her art shows. I want to show up and show love and help her out too. And like to me, like I
Yeah.
love that part of life. I love that part of collaboration.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much more we can accomplish if we do things together,
For
And so
sure.
I love watching these music videos that like she's in them like over the years, and then like I love being able to go to her art shows, see how her art has progressed, buy her art, put it up on my wall, and then brag about her, when people come over and see her stuff on my walls, like that stuff is fun. And so I would challenge people to like find the fulfillment in collaborating and supporting other people.
Hey man, like I'm a living testament to that because I mean Vince has been so supportive throughout my career, and man, like I'm so grateful because I do, man. Like I understand what you're saying. I remember when I used to throw shows, and like I would perform on the shows that I was throwing, and then
Yeah.
I would like put other artists on to try to give them a platform, and like maybe there weren't that many people in the crowd, or maybe there was nobody in the crowd. I would always make sure that they knew that I was in the front row, like rooting for them, like vibing
Yeah.
out with them, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that could make a difference, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
that one person like vibing out with you, like it does something, man. Like, well, not to everybody. I think some people are just like, man, whatever, it's just one person. But I think like for somebody like myself, like if
Hmm.
I see that one person vibing, it gives me a little bit of energy and it like makes me like be like, okay,
Yes.
like I'm not gonna think too hard about this, you know? So
Dude, you know what? I really think that I learned that from you, Tim, like straight up,
oh
because
wow.
I do the same thing, and like you speaking that just like jogged my memory. But I remember going to your shows and that you would be dialed in and focused, and you would be up there at toward the front, supporting those artists. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm gonna tell you right now. I know for a fact that was from going to your shows. And then, because you hope to get that back when you're on stage. And so I do
Yeah.
that wherever I am, even if I'm not on the lineup and I have no idea who this person is. Like I know what it's like to be an artist and to be on stage and like to get a vibe check, y'all rocking with me, and like just to hear, even if it's three people say, yes, we are rocking with you. That means so
Yeah.
much. And that can help move the needle in the right way for so many people. So I agree with
Yeah.
you, dude. So thank you for instilling that in me.
Oh man, I didn't know that, man. So yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we're on the same. I think that's why we're still friends, man. And I think that's why
Hmm.
like we've been connected like over such a long period of time. Is I just feel like we just kind of have a mutual understanding about things that kind of we never like really talked about it. Like it's not like
Hmm.
we sat down and said, okay, you're gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. It was just like a mutually like understood like relationship that like just was all about growing and support and about like just just trying to like push the boundaries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I'm all about that, bro. Like in every aspect of my life, man, I try to just keep doing that because I just feel like, you know, I want to be able to help out. At the end of the day, I want to be able to help as many people as I possibly can. And
Hmm.
I know that I can't do that alone. Like I know
Yeah.
that mission is way grander than me, and it's something that like the universe has uh brought so many cool and helpful and special people into my life that like it's just a reinforcement, you know. So to kind of recap on the secret sauce, you guys, uh one of the things that not one of the things but the several things that I've seen from watching Vince succeed in life is and I didn't mention one, but I mean I don't really want to get into that one because that's like a whole other episode on its own. But uh managing your time well, having a strong work ethic, and just having some sort of discipline, you know, when it comes to like the things that you want to accomplish in your life. I think if you can like focus on one of these three elements on a daily basis, not all day, every day, but just have it be something that is incorporated into your mindset, like at certain some point every day. I think that you're on a path to success. And
Eh,
the other thing that I don't want to like get into it, but the other thing that I just want to kind of like put a little a note on that I think is another formula to your success that I think is important is you've done all of this sober. And I think that like in the music industry, man, like from my perspective and from my experience, it's not very common. And so I just want to kind of give you your recognition and like a little bit of kudos, man, because I think it takes a very strong, confident, and sure person to be able to go into such a hard, like grueling industry that like will chew you up and spit you out, and do it completely sober, man. And if you are like doing like smoking weed, drinking, and you're doing your thing, like I'm not judging anybody, man. I just think that like on a grander scale, on a healthy lifestyle type of vibe, I think that to me is the way to do it. And if I could have gone back, man, I would have tried to like do it a lot more sober, or all the way sober if I could have, if I
mhm.
would have known the things that I know now, of course. But and I like I said, I don't want to get too much involved in that, because like I feel like we could do a whole episode just on that because it's just my
We
experience.
should. I mean, we should. I'd be down to come back for another episode to talk about that stuff in
Okay.
particular, because I know that there's a lot there,
Yeah.
and because I've never drank or done drugs, but I'm also not. I don't think that I'm some special person who's better than everyone else. Like, not
Yeah.
even. I had my own set of mental struggles and
Yeah.
hurdles. But yeah, we could definitely. I'd be down to come back and talk about that at some point because I recognize now that it's like a fascinating thing for people, and that was never my intention. I'm like literally just living my life being myself,
Yeah.
and like as time crept on, I'm like, I never thought about drinking. So
I like somebody that has like had to deal with that, man. I look at it as like a strength, and
mm,
I look at it as like a thing to be proud of. And I don't mean in like a cocky, like arrogant way. I just think in a way of like, you know what, man, like it's something that other people struggle with that I don't. And it's something to be proud of, like not to brag about, not to boast about, but just something that is not as common as I have seen. So
yeah.
I just like to point it out, man. I don't ever want to put anybody on the spot and like make it seem like it's a bad thing, because I don't think it's a bad thing at
Exactly.
all.
Yeah, neither do I. And I've
Yeah.
never people like ask me about stuff. I'm like, I don't mind. It's okay that you drink or like smoke weed. Like
Yeah.
everything in moderation. You know what I'm saying?
Everything in moderation. Yeah.
I keep my cookies in moderation. They're a part of my life, but within a healthy limit, you know? So we all have our vices, you know?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to point this out, bro. And I'm not trying to put you on blast, but the man does have a cookie pillow behind him. You can see it on camera.
This is
But
true. I
hey.
mean, I live that life. When people are like, I want someone who talks the talk and walks the walk.
He's
This is
about
my
that life, y'all. He's
I
about
am
that
about that
life.
life. Cookies aren't just like cookies are life. All right. Maybe that's part of my secret sauce.
That's part. Hey, that's probably your reward system, bro. That's like your.
Oh, oh, it is. It is. You have no idea how many times I'm like doing something on stage or whatever, and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna get like half a dozen cookies after this, like
I
straight
just
up.
earned them. I just
Or like
earned them.
working like New Year's Eve night at the restaurant, getting off at like 2 a.m. I'm like, I got these cookies at home waiting for me. Like, I'm gonna go ham on those. So yeah, straight up, like I will plan my like that is my reward system, like honest to God.
Hey,
So
hey,
yeah,
I can't knock that at all, man.
when I'm home by myself, little cookie and milk action. Ooh, man, that feels so good.
See, man, he's giving away all the secrets, y'all. Like, y'all, you guys need to be writing this down.
Yeah, run this episode back so you can just like, really make sure you got everything.
Right on, man. So before I go, man, I always ask my guests this, and it's just a beautiful thing because everybody's answer is different. This show is called Grown Man Sessions. How would you define a grown man?
How would I define a grown man? Uh I would define a grown man as someone who what's the word I'm looking for? Who holds himself accountable
Mhm.
for his actions and his goals and someone who is understanding and supportive both to other people and himself. I feel like a big part of being a grown man is being able to recognize who we are and that relationship with ourself. And then holding ourselves accountable for everything, not just like how you treat your partner or your kids or family or coworkers, but like how you treat yourself. That's a part of being a grown man, is really understanding who you are, what you need, and what you can provide and offer to others in your life.
Yeah, man, you said it well. I like that for real. I'm really big on that accountability stuff. So I like that.
For sure.
Right on, man. Well, thank you. If you guys got anything from this episode, which I mean, I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, Vince just gave away all the secret sauce. Don't go trying to like write a book and not give him credit, or else we're gonna come after you. The cookie mob father is you know. Well, we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna
It
go
is
there.
what it is. Is what you
Yeah,
need to know. It is what it is. All right.
yeah. So just trying to for a little warning, but yeah. So I always end these shows by saying one person could change the world, but it's one person at a time, and right now that one person is you. If you guys got anything, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. Please join the community, join the conversation, drop us a comment. If you want to hit me up directly, you can go to Grown Man Sessions on Instagram. Vince, where can they hit you up directly?
Hit me up on AOL Instant Messenger. I'm just kidding. You can hit me up.
When you get your dial up going.
Yeah. No, just anywhere, just my name at Vince Vicari, Vicari. Please, you're welcome. If you have something to say, no matter what it is, hit me up. I'm everywhere. So yeah, I'm happy to talk and chat and collaborate. So that's where you can find me, at Vince Vicari.
Yeah, guys. So in the meantime, like until next time, take care of yourselves. Like, implore some of these tactics I'm telling you in your life. Start down writing lists, start managing your time better, start being more disciplined, like just with little things throughout the day. And I guarantee you, it's not going to happen the first day, but I guarantee you're going to start seeing changes. And for me, man, like I look at people like Vince and I know that it's possible. So yeah, I hope you guys take care of yourselves. And until next time, peace out.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, sir. Thank you.